Hey everybody, in this video we are going to be talking about an absolute classic type of problem and I think it's could be very simple to solve, and I think sometimes people really overanalyze it and make it way more complicated than it needs to be. So I hope that you can follow along and get something out of this, okay? So let's get into it. A chemist needs a 20% solution of alcohol. So we want a solution of alcohol that is 20% alcohol. So maybe it's, alcohol mixed with whatever else, but 20% alcohol. And right now we have a 15% solution on hand, which is not enough. And we have a 30% solution on hand, which is too much. And I can't just mix them equal parts. I can't be like, I'm just going to eyeball it. No, it doesn't work like that. But we can calculate how many liters of the 15% solution should she add to the 3 liters, so we know how much, 3 liters of the 30% solution to obtain a 20% solution. So what do I have to do to mix it so it becomes 20%? So it's like mixing paint colors, right? You put too much of one, too little of another, yada, yada, to make it what you want it to be. So I'm going to mix these solutions. I'm going to mix the 15% solution. This is not really the problem, okay? This is just me mixing. 15% solution plus the 30% solution. I'm going to pour them together. And my goal, hopefully, is to create, out of all that, a 20% solution. That's what we want. Boom, right? So we need to know how much of each thing. Now, percent. The word percent means for every 100 or out of 100. When I want to find a percent of something, the word of, right? So let's even give it a little bit more, okay? If I have P percent of X, that means I have P per cent, C-E-N-T, cent, Latin for 100. And honestly, the percent symbol is actually a little fill in the blank. Oh my God, I know, right? So P over 100. And I actually think it's better that we write our fractions vertical. So P over 100. The word of. So in the last video or the one before, I talked about how the word is or any form of the verbs to be or to have mean is. Of, in a case like this, percent of something means to multiply. Of X. All right, so you're going to have that in mind. Is, again, will mean, is will mean equals. So we're going to be able to kind of set this up in this way. If we're combining things, guess what? It's addition. I know, wild, wild notion right there. So let's get into this. We want a 20% solution of alcohol. She has 15% solution on hand as well as 30% solution. What do I know for sure? I know that one of the things that we're mixing is a 30% solution. And I know I'm finding 30% of the 3 liters. 30% of 3 liters is alcohol. That's alcohol right there. 30% alcohol. 30% of 3 liters is alcohol. But I want to combine that with the 15% solution of how much? I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know how much. So that's where the let statement comes in. Let X be the amount of 15% solution that we need. Okay, so that means 15% of X liters mixed with 30% of 3 liters. And the goal is that it will equal, right? It'll equal, and now, of course, I don't plan my space properly. And I got to erase and move this over so I could fit everything. I want this to equal my 20% solution. But what will the volume of my 20% solution be? 20% of what? Well, the volume is based on what I just mixed together. So that's going to be X of the one solution plus 3 of the other solution, X liters and 3 liters. So that is the equation I'm solving. Now I'm going to start this off by doing what I always do and getting rid of all the unnecessary fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 100 to clear them out. What does that leave me with? I'm left with 15x plus 30 equals, now the 100s are gone. I don't do an extra 100 here. It was all one term, so I'm good. 20 times x plus 3, I'm going to have 20x plus 60. And now all you're doing is solving for x. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's bring 15x to that side. Let's bring 60 to that side. What did I write down incorrectly? I know. When I copied the equation, I missed something. What did I miss? Did you catch it? Did you catch it? I know what I missed. This was 30. Oops, that's a really large eraser. Hello. 30% of 3. So it's 30% of 3. So really over here, my bad, this should be a 90. I immediately knew I made a mistake because I knew I was going to get 5x on the right and I was going to get a negative number on the left. And that wouldn't make sense because I can't have a negative number of liters. All right. So now let's carry on. So then I'm bringing those to the other side. So what does that leave me with? So subtract 60, I get 30 on the left. That got really skinned the pen, huh? 30 on the left equals, then 20x minus 15x is 5x. Divide both sides by, divide both sides by 5. And I don't even think I need to show that stuff. You guys are smart. And we get x equals 6, and that's going to be 6 liters. So we'll need to mix. We need to mix 6 liters of 15% solution with the 3 liters of 30% solution to make a 20% solution. All right, so this is what we need to do to obtain the 20% solution. So maybe you need to watch it again. Sorry about the mistake partway through, but I did catch it, fix it. We are smart. We are geniuses. If you are watching it again, let me know. Give a thumbs up because, you know, repetition, practice makes improvement. If you are sadly confused and you want another video like this one, ask me in the comment. We can work on that. Check the playlist for more examples, and maybe you'll find more of what you're looking for. And that's it for now. Sayonara.